Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, police trying to ID man fatally shot in alleged shootout. The police are working to identify a man who was fatally shot during an alleged confrontation with law enforcement officers in Fraser's Content, St. Catherine yesterday. According to reports, around 10:15 p.m., a joint police and military team was conducting an operation in the area. Upon reaching Fraser's Boulevard, the man was seen along the roadway and allegedly pulled a gun, pointing it at the officers. In response, the team took evasive action and fired at the man, hitting him. He was rushed to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The Independent Commission of Investigations has launched a probe into the incident. Tight pants extradited to the U.S. on lottery scam charges. Jamaican authorities yesterday extradited Alonda Gentles, otherwise known as the Tight Pants, to the United States to face criminal charges related to lottery scamming. Gentles, who is from Jamaica, was handed over to authorities in South Carolina yesterday, where he will face charges for mail fraud, wire fraud, and a conspiracy, a top American official confirmed. Gentles is the fifth Jamaican extradited to the U.S. this year on charges related to lottery scamming, according to Eric Shen, inspector in charge of the Criminal Investigation Group at the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. We have one more pending this year, Shen disclosed during an interview with the news at the United States Embassy in Kingston on Thursday. The latest extradition comes amid what the U.S. officials said is the increased use of technology by Jamaican lottery scammers to reach more American victims and to collect their ill-gotten gains. Social media gives them more reach and they are able to reach out to more people, and then when it comes to the movement of the funds, you are seeing more cryptocurrency being utilized, he said. Trelawney man charged for allegedly stabbing co-worker. A 25-year-old man from Trelawney is scheduled to appear in court on May 7 after allegedly stabbing his female co-worker during a dispute at work on Wednesday. 25-year-old Clive Dyer, a steward from Cooper's Bend District, is charged with wounding with intent. According to reports from the Falmouth police, the incident occurred around 12:45 a.m. when Dyer and the complainant started to argue. It is alleged that Dyer threatened to kill her, then pulled a knife and attempted to stab her. As the woman tried to escape, Dyer reportedly inflicted multiple stab wounds to her body. Security personnel on the premises intervened and stopped the attack. The woman was subsequently taken to the hospital for treatment. Dyer was charged on Wednesday. Firearm and ammunition seized in St. Andrew, man arrested. A man was arrested after police seized a firearm and ammunition during a patrol on Seavright Drive, St. Andrew on Wednesday. Reports are that around 4 p.m., officers noticed the man acting suspiciously. He ran, but the cops chased him. A search of his bag revealed a .38 Taurus revolver, 8.38 rounds, and 1.56 round of ammunition. The suspect's identity is being withheld pending further investigations. Andrew Holness versus Integrity Commission, first court hearing set for November 7. The first leg of Prime Minister Andrew Holness's bid to have an Integrity Commission report on his financial affairs invalidated is set for November 7 in the Supreme Court. Holness, through his legal team, will try to convince a judge to give him permission to apply for a judicial review of the investigation and its associated final report released by Parliament on September 17. A judicial review is used by the courts to assess whether actions taken by a public entity were fair and legal. Other details on the hearing, such as who will be the presiding judge, will be announced closer to the date, which is the normal practice of the court. Holness applied to the Supreme Court on September 30 for several administrative orders, including the review. In the controversial 171-page report, the IC's Director of Investigation Kevin Stevenson, said he could not conclude on the question of illicit enrichment. Highlighted unexplained financial discrepancies in Holness's 2021 income filings and raised questions about the tax compliance and the transactions of over $470 million involving connected companies and tax compliance. The IC, which said it could not certify the income declaration, referred the matter to the Financial Investigations Division, citing Holness's failure to provide expense details. But Holness has denied any wrongdoing, claiming that the report is flawed and unfairly suggests unethical and criminal conduct by him and affiliated firms. He wants the Supreme Court to terminate all investigations into his financial affairs, invalidate the report, strike down the provision of the Integrity Commission Act, and declare sections of the Corruption Prevention Act used to probe illicit enrichment as unconstitutional. Holness, his company, Imperium Investment Holdings Limited, and the two other connected entities, Positive Media Solutions Limited and the Positive Jamaica Foundation, are seeking the judicial review. Their case is being led by King's Counsel Georgia Gibson of the law firm Henlin Gibson Henlin. The respondents are two senior executives of the Commission, Director of Information and Complaints Craig Beresford, first respondent, and the Director of Investigations, second respondent, and the Commission itself, third respondent. The firm Hilton Powell is representing the IC and its officials. The lead attorney is King's Counsel Michael Hilton, a former Solicitor General of Jamaica. Slickiano murder accused case postponed to October 24. The case surrounding Rashawn Patterson, the man charged in connection with the October 2022 murder of social media influencer Anika Slickiano Townsend, has been postponed to October 24. The new date was given when the case was called up in the St. James Circuit Court on Thursday, a day before Friday's original date set when the matter was last called up on September 23. The Circuit Court is expected to resume on October 22, following Friday's postponement. The reason for the postponement was not exactly clear. It is understood all cases set for Friday were called up unplanned on Thursday. The case was last delayed on September 23 due to an outstanding post-mortem report of Slickiano and the DNA results, which are currently being awaited by the Crown. This resulted in Supreme Court Judge Justice Bertram Morrison, who presided over the matter, giving an October 18 mentioned date to allow time for the files to be completed. However, the case will now be heard on October 24. Once the files are completed, a trial date will be set. Townsend's scantily clad body was retrieved from the sea in Reading, St. James on October 21. On November 11, the police had stated that Townsend traveled from Kingston to Montego Bay, where she was picked up by Patterson at approximately 7:30 p.m. on October 20. During the evening, they visited a restaurant in Hanover and a guest house in St. James. At some point during the night, an argument reportedly developed between them. Patterson is accused of strangling Townsend and disposing of her body. Patterson was named as a person of interest on October 22. He was picked up at a guest house in Hanover by a police Era 1 operational team on November 2 after missing at least 2 deadlines to turn himself in. School principal freed of child pornography charge. A school principal who was charged with child pornography 9 years ago was freed on Friday in the Home Circuit Court. Bradley Robinson, principal of John Mills Primary and Junior High in Kingston, was freed following submissions by his attorney Hugh Wildman. Mr. Robinson was investigated and later charged by the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse in 2014, following allegations that he was communicating with a student at the institution by sending her lewd photos via WhatsApp. But when the matter was called up last week, Mr. Wildman applied for the case to be dismissed on the grounds that the complainant had failed to attend the hearing. He argued that Mr. Robinson's constitutional right to a trial within a reasonable time had been breached by the state. Prosecutors, who were given a week to respond to Mr. Wildman's application, on Friday informed the judge that they were offering no further evidence against the principal. Mr. Wildman then urged the presiding judge, Justice Bertram Linton, to place on the record a verdict of not guilty. The judge agreed and entered a verdict of not guilty against Mr. Robinson. The principal was placed on suspension 9 years ago, pending the outcome of the case. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.